Using Paddy Power's Hot Trot Jackpot, their new free-to-enter horse racing competition. Every Saturday, pick 5 horses in a free Lucky 31 bet for your chance to win the guaranteed £10,000 jackpot. T&Cs apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Hi there, welcome along. It's the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. Bruce Millington, Paul Keeley, Brendan Duke and Frank the Tank Hickey from Paddy Power looking ahead to classic days racing at Newmarket on Sunday. And we'll get stuck straight into the 3:35, the Kipco 1,000 Guineas Stakes. And horticulturalists, you're in for a treat. What's the latest betting here, Frank?
Rhododendron is 15-8, Daban 5-1, Fair Eve is 6-1, Winter 7-1, Hydrangea is 10-1, Talib 12-1, Intricately and Pod's Vanity are 16-1, and we're 20-1 bar.
Okay, you're clearly not that green-fingered. It's Hydrangea. You know that, Brendan, don't you? I bet you're a son of the soil, aren't you?
Yes, I would pronounce it Hydrangea as well, although the Hydra is is that some Greek goddess or Roman goddess or something, but it is Hydrangea, isn't it?
Okay, yes it is.
Yeah.
Brendan, we'll start with you. Who's going to win the 1,000 Guineas this year?
I am going to go for one at a price. I'm going to go for Intricately. I don't think there's Rhododendron obviously sets a good standard. I'm just never sure about Aidan's filly's first time up, and I'm inclined to take her on at the price. Daban, I love Daban, but she's still got something to learn, and she's the time at the Nell Gwyn wasn't great, and she'll have to settle better. Now, this Winter has been all the rage. Winter ran in the Guineas Trial in Leopardstown. I was there that day. She got quite warm before the race, and she was quite keen in it, so she'll need to settle better. If I was backing her, I'd probably have a look at her in the preliminaries. But Intricately, under a £3 penalty, not knocked about by Dunica. She 7 furlongs was too tight for her. She was running on at the end. I think at around 16-1, I think Frank said, around 16-1, she's worth a bet each way.
Kills, see that plant that I've got on my screen there? Is that a rhododendron or a hydrangea?
I wouldn't have the faintest idea. I'd say rhododendron.
It's blue. Would any of you two in Ireland like to have a guess?
Does that mean I'm wrong?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, rhoda is Greek for pink, I think, isn't it? So rhododendrons are pink and hydrangeas are blue. I don't know if the bushes are either of those, but I don't suppose we'll see as they were past. So Brennan's going to take a chance on Intricately. What do you reckon, Kills?
Yeah, well, if you just wanted to sort of rewind that tape and play that bit again, that would sort of sum it up for me, to be honest. Yeah, because I put up Intricately in the weekend a few weeks ago. I did think she was given quite an easy time. It wouldn't be a great surprise to see Joseph O'Brien take a leaf out of Aidan's book and have one slightly undercooked for a trial, and she's probably going to come on an absolute ton. I thought she was the one to take out that race, so I was a bit sort of knocked back by the money for Winter. She's obviously pleasing him very much, but does that tell us any more about Rhododendron, given the money for a stablemate? Rhododendron arguably has as much, has more in hand of her field than Churchill does of his, and she's a slightly bigger price. She was very, very impressive at the end of last season. But it's Intricately for me. I'm not convinced about Daban. I don't think that race was any good, and I don't think she'd be playing a part.
And it's been all about Winter in the offices, hasn't it, Frank, this week?
Oh, it has. It's just been, Winter at the end of April sort of thing. It's been the only horse they want to know. Now I joined the party late. Looking at that race, she's come from David Watchman to Aidan O'Brien. She's obviously improved. My one concern would be being out of Laddie's Poker 2, who was a 6 furlong horse. You'd be a little bit concerned with her being keen and stretching out to a mile. But I think if she gets it, she's probably going to improve with that last run. Of course, the form was franked by Rihanna bolting up last weekend. So I think you wouldn't go too far wrong sticking with that form with Winter and the lads' selection Intricately. But for me, I'm on Winter. But yeah, I could see Intricately going very well as well at a bigger price.
Okay, and 14 runs. I think you're offering some enhanced each way terms, aren't you? Well, you're obviously unaware of that.
We're doing 4 places. A fifth, 4 places.
It's a floor, isn't it? Yeah. Fair enough. Don't worry. If I'd been you and won all that money last weekend, I would not know what day it is, let alone what Paddy Power's place terms are on the 1,000 Guineas. Okay, the card kicks off at 150 with the Catter Racing handicap. Have we got anything yet, Frank, or are you guys still churning them out?
I don't think we have prices just yet for that.
Okay, well, give us the winner instead then.
The 150, is it?
Yeah.
You couldn't but be impressed with Big Country at Kempton in the Rosebery. Now he's after getting, what did he get? He got 9.
10.
Was it £10 for that?
Yeah.
But the second came out and won a good race up at Newcastle. The third, Prince of Arran, was second in the Sagaro. £10 could be pretty lenient. I think this will be very difficult to beat.
Big Country. Okay, we won't do any music references, Gills, because I know that if it's not Meatloaf, you don't know. Right, who wins?
Right, yeah, I like the top one, Frontiersman. I thought his run at Doncaster was really good. Obviously, he got into a protracted battle with Muntaha, and they took each other on as soon as they turned into the straight. Basically, that's 4 furlongs, and they cut each other's throats. And Chemical Charge well back went past them. Now Muntaha and Chemical Charge came out of Mara and fought out the finish of the John Porter of Group 3 the other day. Frontiersman was only beaten a length and a half by Munzaha, who's rated a good £10 better than him. And I think if he's given a more considerate ride, he'll take a lot of beating.
You sound quite confident there, Kills. Yeah. Okay, Brendan, got a strong view?
Well, I'd be interested to see what price Big Country goes in, because this is one of these horses that you can never get short enough about. I could see this going off 7-4 or something. They're just going to want to back this. He looks, in fairness, Paul's angle, he's already made money out of that Doncaster race because he put up Muntaha. So perhaps there's something in that, but Big Country he just stands out in the race. I can't get away from him.
You're no shorter than 2-1 with your betting strategy, Brendan, aren't you? So if he was 2-1, would you get stuck in?
I think I would. I mean, even 2-1 looks short in a handicap, but he just laughed at them in Kempton. And I mean, as Frank says, the form couldn't be working out better. It was a 50 grand handicap the Wild Act won the group race that Prince of Arran was second in. So do the maths. You know, it just wins.
Okay, 220. Carrying on with the floral theme from the Guineas, we've got the Dahlia Stakes, Group 2 over whatever it is. It's a mile, isn't it?
One.
Yeah, mile and 1, of course it is. Yeah, and reasonably competitive fare as well, Frank, isn't it?
Yeah, somehow is our 5-2 favourite. Mufriha is 7-2. Nizwa 9-2. Al Jazzy 13-2. Skiffle 7-1, and we are 12-1 bar.
Keels.
Yeah, somehow there's got to be a reason that she's never run on really, really fast ground, and that's what she's going to get, very, very fast ground at Newmarket. I think you've got to take her on. And I just thought Muffrey Ha, who improved last year and has run at least as well in group races at Meydan, and then dropped to 7 furlong at Lingfield last time, didn't get the run on the race. It's too short for her anyway. She probably still should have won it. I think she's a fair bet, around 7-2.
Okay, Brendan, what do you think?
I have not got a strong opinion on this race. If there was any sort of ease in the ground, which there won't be, I'll be all over somehow. Muffrey has a frustrating filly. Like, Trip looks too short at 7 furlongs, and then sometimes she looks like she runs out of gas at 1 mile. Skiffle's interest. I'll go for somehow and hope she handles the ground, but I won't be having a bet.
Okay, Frank, when I ask you sometimes with certain races, there's a little pause, and then you do this little sort of and I'm not sure whether it's difficult or whether it's because you really, really fancy one. Is there going to be one of them in this broadcast? And if so, is it this race?
It's not this race. There might be one the next race, though.
Okay, great. Well, who wins the Dahlia?
I wouldn't be overly confident here at all. I'd be willing to give a little squeak to Nizwa. Like, she's very hit and miss, but when she's on, she's not too bad. She gave Somi Dar a good run at Yarmouth last September, over 10 on fast ground. If she could replicate that, she'd have an each-way chance here, I think. But you don't know what way she's going to run. I think at her best, she'd have a right go, but yeah, it's a bit of guesswork, really.
Okay, let's look at the 255, the long holes handicap. Give us a show of betting and then your selection, Frank.
Projections are 4-1 Fav. Gunmetal is 6-1. East Street Review 8-1. Intisab, Mr. Lupton, Big Time, Eastern Impact are all 10-1, and we're 12-1 bar. East Street Review is a horse close to my heart. He's a right cracking sprinter. I remember last year he won at York off America round in the low 80s, I think, and I remember thinking this horse will be rated 100 plus next year. He was very unlucky at Beverley the last day. He probably got caught just as the race was developing, and he rattled home to be beaten a short head. Now he got £5 for that, but he's run well at Newmarket before, and I think even off America 94 he can go well. And I'll be having a little saver on a Richard Fahy horse who loves Newmarket this time of year, called Eastern Impact. He won this race 2 years ago off £2 higher, and at 10-12-1 he's an each-way no-brainer with the 4 places.
Yeah, James Pyman has told me I must back Eastern Impact this weekend. Kills, what do you think will happen?
Yeah, I mean, he's a saver for me too. I mean, Richard Fay said in his stable tour that, you know, he's being primed for this race. since the start of the season. So, he's of interest. I was quite interested down the bottom in Hakam, who won, very tidily two races on the all-weather, and then ran in the apprentice race on all-weather finals day and missed a kick and had nowhere to go. Was stuck last, but by all accounts, he absolutely rattled home. He only finished 9th, but he was really fast in the closing stages. So he's miles better than that. He's got bits and pieces of turf form. Not a great deal, to be honest, but one of them was at Newmarket. In the spring of 2015, and if he handles turf, which he hasn't had many goes on, I think 20 to 1 with Sylvester de Souza on board is a big price.
Righty-ho, Brendan?
I had no strong opinion, Bruce, but I'm convinced now with this Eastern Impact because three gurus have suggested him there, so I'll happily row in behind the three of them.
One of my favourite betting maxims is if you can't be a good judge, which I'm not, be a good judge of judges. And as you say, those three have all put up Eastern Impact, so that'll do for me. Right, let's go to Hamilton, where the ITV cameras will be there for 2 races. The 2:05 on Sundays, the Topol Tangerine Trees Conditions Stakes. Keels, who's going to cross the line in front here?
Well, I'd imagine it'd be Dream of Dreams, to be honest. So he probably had the best form as a 2-year-old, even though he had one real flop at York when he pulled up. He came back and he ran really well there in a listed race behind Sir Dance-A-Lot, which is as good a 2-year-old form in Britain as you could get at the time, I'd have thought. And I think he's probably got the best form in the race. Sutter County's been busy on the all-weather. And I don't really think that much, other than Equimu, who you could give a squeak on his best form. It's not the best race in the world. I think Dream of Dreams will win it.
We'll stick with you, Keels, for the 2:35, the other TV race, 1 mile 5 furlong handicap.
Yeah, again, a disappointing turnout, to be honest. Only 6 runners, not the worst prize in the world. Kensington Star probably hasn't been given the best handicap mark after winning a red card, but he did do it pretty well. And the rest of them seem sort of pretty much exposed, and you'd imagine that he was an expensive horse a few years ago, got sold very, very cheaply. He's only run twice in his life at the age of 4. Could just go well for Keith Dalglish.
Okay, Brennan, have you got a view on either of those Hamilton contests?
Not the 2:05, the 2:35. I did like Paul's horse, the Dalglish horse. It's just his horses are not going well at the moment, are they, Paul?
No, it's true. He hasn't had that many run well, but hopefully they can dip in and out of form, can't they?
True. Well, I
say that when you want to try and shore up your own case. When you find one you want to take off, trainer's badly out of form, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no. I basically, because the 2 Dalglish horses in the race, I was just looking for something else. So Sanocki and Star, because he's got such a class edge. I think he's £8 ahead at the top of the handicap. He was my one, but perhaps there are flaws in my logic, as Paul says.
I doubt it. You're a very logical man. Frank the Tank, anything at Hamilton before we move on to Leopardstown?
Yeah, no strong opinion on Hamilton.
Okay, let's get stuck into Leopardstown then with some decent stuff here. We've got the 1,000 Guineas trial, the Derby trial, and the Amethyst. Let's start with the Amethyst, the Group 3 sprint at 2:10. And I guess you got a show of betting for us, Frank, haven't you?
We actually don't yet.
You don't? Okay, well, give us the winner instead then.
Jesus, it's a tough one.
It's a good race, isn't it?
It is a very good race, but it's very tricky in the betting front. I'd probably take a chance on Jim Bulger's Tribal Beat. He disappointed on Champions Day last year, but he was very well supported that day. But if you go back to the time before, he won a Group 3 over this course and distance, beating Cougar Mountain. It's a bit of guesswork to know whether he's going to be ready to go for this. But I think if he is, he might be able to upset the rest.
Okay, Kills.
Yeah, I mean, it was Tribal Beat for me. He looks like he's a horse that's had problems, but when you've got those horses, they tend to get them fit first time up, and that's what happened last season when he came out and he didn't just beat Cougar Mountain, he won quite readily. And next time flop. So I'd imagine, given his problems, he'll be ready, and he's probably the best horse in the race.
Brendan.
Yes, like the lads, if Tribal Beat repeats his comeback of last year, he wins.
Brendan, will you be on a birthday outing to Leopardstown on Sunday, do you think?
I will. I'll definitely go to Leopardstown. And the last time I was there, actually, for the Ballysacks, I'm sure we'll discuss that later, I met perhaps our youngest podcast fan.
Oh, really?
Yes, young Rory Tully. Now, I'm not a great judge of children, but I pitched the over-under at about 8.5. And he went up and he told me that he's a huge fan of the Postcast and he listens every week.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, good man, Rory. We need all the fans we can get. Excellent. 2:45 then, Brendan. We'll stick with you. It's the Derringstown Stud 1,000 Guineas trial. Is the 1,000 Guineas, Irish 1,000 Guineas winner in this field? And if so, who is it?
No, this looks a poor renewal.
Okay, who wins the race then?
Perhaps Pearl de la Mer. She looked a real nice filly in 2 runs last year, won a maiden and 5th in a Group 3. She's untried on quicker ground, but the way she moves in her pedigree suggests she'll improve for her. McCreary's absolutely flying, and this won't take a lot of winning.
Pearl de la Mer for Brendan. What about you, Frank?
Yeah, again, it wasn't a race I was overly gone with, but I'd probably just give the vote to Holy Cat with Pat Smullen riding. She was absolutely smashed up on her debut at the Lep last year for a maiden, and she won well. Went to the Curr and was beaten by Intelligence Cross. There's no disgrace in that, and she went to Newmarket then for a Group 1, the Shively Park, and she was put in her place. But this isn't a real Group 3, I would think, and I think she'd be the token selection for me.
The Lep. I love that. I'm going to start calling it the Lep.
Yeah.
Who do you think will win this one?
Yeah, I'd be the same with Holy Cat. At least there's a bit of intent to run her in the Chieveley Park last year. It's just they think she's up to Group class. I mean, the rest, they are lucky to be running in a Group 3 without decent horses in it. Holy Cat might be the one, but it's probably the worst Group 3 you'll see for a while.
Not much excitement for that Group 3. Maybe there'll be a little bit more for the Derringstown at 3:20. Brendan, introduce some vim and vigour, enthusiasm and a winner for this race.
Okay, so you have the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th from the Ballysacks all taking one another on, and none of Aiden's looked ready before the race. The one that looked least ready, I thought, was Capri, who's a big, gross horse. So despite the fact that he's about 3 lengths to make up on Douglas MacArthur, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the one who comes alive in the betting. This is almost as interesting a betting heat as it is a trial for the Derby. Just interesting that McCreary runs Naturalist. Again, I was in Leopardstown because that's where I go when he made his debut, and he was so green in the parade ring, didn't have a clue. He was plenty green in the race. I'd say he'll turn the tables on Ger Lyons' horse, and it's interesting that McCreary, he'd be a penalty kick and a maiden, but he's obviously shown him enough to run in here. And if he went in a silly price given connections, if he went in 14 or 16 to 1, something like that, I might chance him.
Do you ever call it the Lep, Brendan?
Yes, I do. I always call it the Lep.
Oh, right, okay, excellent.
Yep.
Frank, what do you reckon here?
I think last year Moonlight Magic was beaten in the Ballysacks before coming to this and winning. Am I right, Brendan?
Yes,
but anyway, Dubai Sand is kind of a similar enough profile where he looked like he needed to run in the Ballysacks. I think he took it up and was headed maybe a furlong and a half out, and he just kind of faded from there. Looked like he needed to run. The step up and trip should suit. I'd be willing to give him a chance. I think he might be a bit of a pricey. He could be 6 or maybe 5 or 6 to 1. I'd probably chance him.
Kills.
Yeah, I mean it's difficult because you're all one form line, isn't it? We've had these horses that have already run in a trial. They ran in some decent 2-year-old races last year. Yucatan probably just about edge it for me, but I don't think I'll be having a bet in the race.
Okay, because it's such a great Sunday, let's have a Sunday nap from each of you. We won't do the singing because producer Jack's not ready, but for Kills, if people were only having one bet on Horsey,
I'm going to pose the fav in the 150 and go with Frontiersman. I think he might be a group horse, and he's still only rated 101.
Brendan?
Belgravia in the last in Leopardstown. Unfortunately, I don't have the time, Bruce.
5:05.
Thank you very much. Really, really good looking sort. I saw him at Naas before his run the last day. Was quite green. Wouldn't be shocked if this ended up in the Mallard, and he won't be a big price in it. He's 2 lengths to find with Clongowes, but an extra 2 furlongs and the experience. I expect him to do that, and he probably won't be favourite with Clongowes in the race. He's worth a bet.
Okay, and Frank, your Sunday nap.
Holy Cat in the 2:45.
Righty-ho. Okay, weekend plans, Kills. What are you going to do?
I'm working tomorrow, mate.
That's unusual for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unusual for me on Saturday. But, working tomorrow, and then family day on Sunday because it was my mum's birthday yesterday.
Oh, lovely. What did you get her?
I haven't got anything yet.
Haven't you? Petrol station still open?
Yeah, we'll be on Sunday, won't it?
Excellent. Brendan, big day for you. 40th. You've told us you're going into town for a few scoops, and then Leopardstown Sunday. What does Saturday hold?
Saturday hosts the Guineas, and it looks like one of the most exciting renewals for years. So I'll be glued to that from the comfort of my couch.
Excellent. And Frank, you've been working all week. You're desperate to spend all that money. What are you going to do?
I'm heading out for food drinks tonight, and I am going to the Munster Connacht game tomorrow evening, and then that's in Limerick, and then I'm heading down to Cork to go out for my cousin's going away party, and then back from Cork to Dublin on Sunday.
Are you a good judge of punting on the rugby?
Oh, I wouldn't have a bet in the rugby. I know nothing. Well, as in, not that I know nothing about it, but I know nothing from a betting point of view with it. I just go to enjoy.
OK, lovely stuff. Killsy's going to go and find some winners. Brendan and Frank are going to go and drink copious amounts of beer. I'm going to go and drink copious amounts of cough mixture. And we're back next week. Don't forget to join Maddie on Monday when I think she's got Tom and the rest of the gang to review the weekend and look ahead to the week ahead. Thanks for joining us.
Paddy Power stream all UK and Irish racing live on your mobile, tablet or PC. Unlike some other high street bookies, Paddy Power, you beauty!